Hi, I'm Ashton, and welcome to a coming out Q&A. I've been out marching all day for like 8 hours, so my face is like burnt a little bit, so I'm gonna be kind of pink. I'm sorry. In my last Q&A, I mentioned that so many of the questions I got were related to coming out that I'm just going to be doing another Q&A, this time answering your questions about coming out. With my cat, apparently. The first bit of this video is going to be answering questions about my personal coming out, and then I'm going to put a timestamp here that you can skip to if you would like to instead hear my advice that I gave to you guys on coming out from specific questions. Does that make sense? I hope so. Kix asked who reacted the worst to you coming out and who reacted the best. The worst was definitely some elementary school friends that kind of disowned me once they found out I was trans. I'm sorry if you can hear my cat purring. Actually, you're welcome if you can hear my cat purring. I was really, not really close, but I was friends with a neighbor, and we threw like a back to school party together, or no, out of school party together in like 4th grade. And recently, after finding out that I'm trans, he decided to Snapchat me a bunch saying, "You're not a boy, you're not a boy, you'll never be a boy because you can't have a penis, you'll never have a penis so you can't be a boy, there are only 2 genders, shit like that." And then at the end he said, "You were born a girl and you will die a woman." So, the best is probably, there's so many people that have reacted well that it's hard to choose one, but I'd say anyone that's been like, yeah, okay, cool, and just started calling me Ashton and he, him, that's always the best. The best answer is just people that don't care. Oh god. He's just gonna sit on my back now. Oh, this was a mistake. Why did I let him do this? Joker456 asked, how do you deal with dysphoria in school? Do you still do sports? And in which changing room do you go in? At school, I'm so distracted that I cannot possibly be thinking about dysphoria. Do I still do sports? I didn't really do sports in the first place. I ride horses, but that doesn't separate by girl or boy, so I don't have to worry about it there. And I just don't go into changing rooms. I don't pee all day at school. It's not healthy, but... Look at him! Oh. The next few are from Hi, it's Milo, who has a YouTube channel if you want to check... Oh, dear Lord. If you want to go go watch him, I will leave his thingy in the description, so go look at that if you so please. I keep saying that. If you so wish, I don't know. He asked, how did all of your friends react? Did you lose any friends? Since I came out going from middle school to high school, basically after middle school, I was like out of my friend group because, well, I had a few that were like, yeah, it's fine, we don't care. They did still call me by my birth name, and they would call me she, her, and, you know, still stuff like that. So, come here, kitten. So yeah, I did lose a few friends that, one of them really, really wanted me to go to church because she thought that Jesus could save me from my trans. I don't know what her logic was, but she kept telling me that Jesus could save me, and I eventually just cut off that friendship because it wasn't really a friendship. Milo also asked, how long after I came out did I get my hair cut and start testosterone? So I actually got a pixie cut before I came out, so you know, I will be making a video on my first short haircut and my first guy haircut and stuff like that, because a lot of people do ask about it, and apparently a lot of people like my hairstyle, which I don't, it's a mess, but I like it, so I'm glad some of you like it, I guess. I started tea 3 years after coming out, so I realized I was trans in 7th grade. I came out to very close friends in 8th grade, and I came out to my family and kind of everyone at the end of 8th grade. I'm in 11th grade now. I'm in my junior year of high school now, and I've been on testosterone for 6 months. So I knew I was trans 4 years before starting tea, and I started tea 3 years after coming out, I think. My math is not going to be perfect, it's kind of late. And was the feeling of showering with short hair awesome? Yeah. When I was little, I used to do like hair donation things, and I would grow my hair out really long, cut it, grow it really long, cut it, and my hair grows really fast, so that was easy for me. I'll put in a few pictures here. I have a picture of the day I got my hair cut short for the first time, which was, gosh, 4 years ago now. Wow. But my hair was down to almost my butt. It was gorgeous. My hair's a lot darker now than it was then, which is disappointing, but like, it's whatever. I don't actually care that much. It's so much easier to wash my hair and to take care of it, and you know, it does help me pass. So yeah, I do really like having short hair compared to how I felt having long hair. And from Unicorn Penguins, did it feel like a relief when you came out to your family? Yes. My video last Thursday was about how I came out to my family, so if you do want to go watch that, I would encourage you to, because then you will know the background to this. But after I sent that letter, I clearly didn't get a response for like 3 or 4 days, right? So I had so much anxiety those 3 or 4 days. And even after that, because when they picked me up, I was like, are they going to use my name? And they did, and it was fine. They didn't use my pronouns because I didn't specify. I just said, I don't think I'm a girl. So my parents were probably pretty confused, but it was a relief, because at that point it had been something I'd been hiding for over a year, and it's a lot tougher denying who you are than it is to embrace it. And even though it is tough to be trans, like there's so many difficulties, it's worth it because I am who I am today. That got deep, I'm sorry. And now I'm going to answer all of the questions asking for advice. If you skipped here after the beginning of the video, hello. So a lot of people asked very similar questions, so I'm going to be grouping them kind of into similar advice. Someone titled IDK asked, is it bad that I thought I was non-binary at some point in my life and now I'm completely different, a cis woman? Don't judge, I feel like I thought this because I was in a really emotional time and kind of took things the wrong way. I think that's completely normal. Gender is something that is very personal, you know, and it's something that you have to kind of discover for yourself. And if you did identify as non-binary at some point in your life, then that's awesome. And I'm glad that you could find yourself, but sometimes, you know, you do realize like, oh, maybe I don't identify as non-binary, and that's fine. You are allowed to change how you interpret your own sense of gender as much as you need to feel comfortable with who you are. So this next bit of advice is for people whose parents do not accept them when they come out. And I'm not saying not accept as in like kicking them out of the house, but people whose parents are like, I don't believe you. You're still your gender given at birth. And this is for Morgan Exists, who told their parents that they're transmasculine, but they don't believe him, and they're not allowed to use different pronouns. As well as Cloud Chaser 101, who came out to their mom a bit ago, but she keeps saying that she knows they're a girl and they're very feminine, while they identify as a bisexual male, and he's only ever really been attracted to gay guys and females. And Cloud Chaser 101, who came out to their mom a bit ago, but his mom keeps saying that you are a girl. As well as Michael or Jude the Gamer, who said that they attempted to come out to their mom, but it didn't work, and their parents checked their social media and would notice the difference if they did try to change their name. So yes, this is for all those people, and anyone else that may have trouble convincing their parents that they're a boy, or a girl, or a NB, whatever you are. So this one is important. This is a really tough thing when you are dealing with it, and I know how you feel, because at first my parents didn't believe me either. And when I expressed interest in starting tea over 2 years ago, they were like, oh, but you don't need to, right? Even if you identify as a boy, you're still a girl. You're still, you know, they may have not even said that explicitly, but the vibes they gave off really told me that. My very best piece of advice on this is educate them, okay? There are so many articles and websites, and even people in real life. There's books, there are documentaries that can all help your parents really understand what it is like to be transgender, and that it's not some phase. I would recommend the documentary Gender Revolution. I watched it at a LGBT center near me, but it's all on YouTube, I'm pretty sure. So sit them down and watch that with them. If you haven't seen it, I would recommend you watch it with them as well, because it's a really good documentary. and it covers more than I expected it would cover around trans subjects. And I think it also opened my parents' minds a little bit, even though they had already begun to accept me when we did watch it. I'll link as much as I can down in the description that may help you convince your parents, hey, being trans is a thing. So educate them, make them watch things, make them listen to things, make them read things. Let them know that this isn't something that is a trend or a fad. This is something that is real, and it is something that you are struggling with. If they are vehemently transphobic and they just won't accept you no matter how much research you present to them, I really hate to say it, but it may be better to deal with it. If you're 17 and you'll be moving out soon, it'll be a lot easier to move out and get on hormones on your own or get surgery on your own than it would be to deal with your parents abusing you over being trans, or, you know, just do the thing that makes you the safest. And if that is hiding who you are, I know it can be really painful. I did it for years too. But once you do come out and once you are able to live as who you want to be, who you are, it's so worth it. Anyways, little tangent there. Once you educate your parents, try to get to a therapist. There is a website that I'll link in the description that lists every therapist, and you can search by like topic or what they'll help with therapy on. And if you search transgender, there is a list of registered gender therapists in pretty much every state. I'm not sure if there's a similar website for like Canada or Australia or whatever, but you can do some research on your own and find one. A gender therapist is someone that will help you figure out who you are and what you want and how you want to progress and transition, and there's someone that can help you convince your parents. When I wanted to start tea, my parents were very, very skeptical about it, but after talking with them and my therapist helped them realize that hormone replacement therapy is something that would make me a lot happier and feel a lot more at home in who I am. Ultimately, a good parent will want the best for their child, and if what's best for you is HRT or it is surgery, then your parent should support that. Literally, my entire heart goes out to anyone that is struggling with unaccepting parents, and Bear loves you too. And I hope that someday soon you find a way to help them understand, because it can be really tough getting, you know, as parents are part of a different generation, getting them to understand how you feel. But I would also recommend being open with them, because it can be extremely difficult to be vulnerable in any situation, but letting your parents know that this is actually something you're struggling with, that can open their minds a bit too and make them realize, hey, this is something that we need to talk about. Salty Pearl asked, please tell me how I survived the awkwardness after coming out, because help. So I don't know if you came out as trans or bi or pan or whatever, so this is just going to be general. Honestly, it can be really awkward, but I think my best advice would just be to take your time. People that, you know, may not be as aware of the LGBT community may feel a bit uncomfortable around you. It can take time for them to get used to you and for you to get used to yourself and being out and open about who you are in a world that may not see you as the normal. Give people time to accept you and get used to who you are, and do try to be open with questions, because I know some people can ask super awkward questions that just make everything worse. But if someone asks you something inappropriate or something that makes you uncomfortable, let them know that. Let them know that they're not entitled to know everything about your identity and that it's yours. And if some friends do end up leaving you, or if you are, you know, exiled from a certain friend group, just know that they weren't friends in the first place. If they aren't willing to accept you for everything about you, including your sexuality and gender, then they're not friends that are worth having. Danny Boy said that they are kind of non-binary and being forced into a girls' gym class. Any advice for that kind of situation? First of all, I feel for you. I'm so sorry. And I really hope that things get figured out soon. I would say the best thing you can do is talk to an administrator or school counselor. Kind of like I gave the advice for helping your parents understand. You can help the school understand in the same methods. They may exempt you from the class. You may be able to drop the class, as I think in some areas it is still very early during the school year. I don't know if you'd feel more comfortable in a boys' gym class or co-ed maybe, but I really hope you do figure out a solution. So yeah, let people know that there's a problem. Tell your gym teachers, tell administrators, and use the same resources that I recommended for, you know, your parents. You can be in one later if you want. Layla Holler said that yesterday they came out for the first time, and it was really cool because their best friend called them the name that they wanted to, but it is very strange because they can feel how hard it is for her to change the name. They like it, but it is strange that someone sees them as the real self. This isn't really a question, I just kind of wanted to address this as well, because it's really interesting, right? And I dealt with this a lot too. It does take some getting used to, but that's okay. So, like I said before, just take your time, and you do get used to it eventually, and so will your friends. And onto Instagram, Devil Child Art and Local Dreamer both asked about trying to convince your parents about wanting a binder, how to convince your parents to help you get a binder. This took me a long time to get to. I've only been binding for like a year or so now, and I've been out, like I said, for 3 or 4 years. So presenting research to them is, again, a really good way to go about this. Let them know that you know how to bind safely, you know the limits, and I can do a video on binding safely if you want to learn more about it, but there's tons of resources other places too. So first off, make sure you are educated on how to bind properly and how to ease into it and what are safe methods of binding and what aren't. And then make sure your parents know that you know. A lot of the times what parents are worried about is safety, like, no, you're gonna hurt your tissue, but if you bind safely, there's really a very, very small chance of that. And, you know, there's a chance of harming yourself literally just living every single day. We're all gonna die eventually. You might as well bind your chest while you're at it. Oh, geez. What I'm trying to say is that it's really not that big of a deal on the grand scheme of things, and if you can convince your parents that it is something that will make you happier and it won't put you in that much danger, then they should really agree. Binders can be kind of expensive, like $30 each-ish, depending on where you get them from. I can definitely recommend some websites. I have 3 Underworks binders and 2 GC2B binders. I very much prefer GC2B, and I'm planning on a video where I compare the two. I'm also getting top surgery in like 3 or 4 months, so once I have a flat chest, I will probably be giving away my binders, and I'll keep you updated on that because I really do want to give them to someone that needs them, and wouldn't have another way of getting them. I'm sorry, but they asked how to explain gender fluid to your family and friends. This is a tough one, isn't it? So, identifying as gender fluid is something that not a lot of people really understand, even if they do understand non-binary identities. And I would say the best thing to do is explain it in the simplest of terms. So tell them that you fluctuate between how you identify. So some days you may feel more masculine, some days you may feel more feminine, some days you may not fit into the binary at all. And make sure they know that just because they may not understand it doesn't mean that they can't accept it. I'd say that's a general rule for everyone. It can be hard to explain, but do your best, and it may help to explain to them how you personally feel instead of like the dictionary definition of gender fluidity. Try that. I don't know. Best of luck. Sezekli_PDX asked, any advice on calming your nerves before coming out? See, the way I did it was through a letter, so I wasn't with my parents when I came out to them, and I didn't see them for like 2 weeks after I came out, so whoops. If you are going to come out in person, I would advise doing it in a public place, because that way, if something bad does happen, they're in a public place. They don't want to make a big deal out of it, right? They're not going to yell at you. I would also advise practicing, like, what are you going to say? If you do just want to hand them a letter or send them a text or an email or whatever works for you, that can work really well because it lets you write out exactly what you want to say, all the things you want to get across, and your voice won't shake, you know? You won't be as nervous. And once you press send, it's out there, it's done, right? You're okay. You didn't have to have a speech about it. Melatonin Artist asked, what hairstyles do you think are the best for trans guys with really traditional transphobic parents? They really want a better hairstyle that makes them feel more masculine, but their mom won't let them get just a general boy's haircut. So I'm assuming that your mom doesn't really understand that haircuts don't have genders. Like, it's hair, it grows back, and one strand isn't gonna be like, oh my god, I'm too short, I feel too masculine, oh no, help me. You could try showing her like feminine short haircuts. Look up like pixie cuts. When I first got my hair cut short, it was a pixie cut, and I still did look really feminine. I looked like Peter Pan. I'll put in a picture here. It was kind of cute. So you can have short hair and still look pretty feminine. I honestly think that you should be able to have your hair however you want, and I don't get why parents would be so controlling over it. Girls and boys can look incredible with whatever haircuts they want, and I hate that your mom doesn't understand that, and I really wish I could talk to her and just be like, listen here, missus. But I also don't, because I'm scared of social interaction and confrontation. And finally, from Jolie Weirdo Leroy, they asked, what if people say you're just doing it for attention? This will happen. I really hate to break it to you, but there's going to be someone when you come out there like, ah, no, it's a phase. You're doing this to get attention. You just need attention, right? How I tried to explain it to these people is, do you really think I'd put myself through all of this for attention? If I wanted attention, I could wear neon colors. I could get a buzz cut. I could grow my hair to my toes. I could run into a room and scream while wearing a top hat. There are so many easier things I could do to get attention. And do you really think I would put myself through losing friends, being terrified of my family, medical appointments constantly? I'd put myself through all of that for attention? I don't think so. I don't care about attention, I'm just trying to be who I am. So yay, that is all the questions I could find about coming out. If you have anything else, if you want a more detailed answer, feel free to comment and I will try to get to as many as possible. Thank you for watching. I hope my advice helped some of you. Goodbye. Have a rainbow and trans-colored day. I will talk to you later, maybe.